And what I've been trying to tell him is that we got to collaborate. You guys got to come into the city. You got to get into the trenches. You got to go in there with these guys that are rough, crazy, and you know, believe me, it's going to be so surprising on how they respond. It's not going to be, you know, a whole bunch of hate.
F-A-N-A-T-I-C, fanatic. I rep Christ till I D-I-E, fanatic. I'm not extreme, I'm redeemed with faith to serve a God who's extremely great. I'm a fanatic. I'm a F-A-N-A-T-I-C, fanatic. I rep Christ till I D-I-E, fanatic. I'm not extreme, I'm redeemed with faith to serve a God who's extremely great. I'm a fanatic.
We're the only ones doing it. We got to do it. We got a tag team. The Bible Beaters and the Holy Rollers Hot Rod Church, man. We got to do it right. We got to do it, man. We got to do it. That's it. And he was a white guy. So Richard, I was wild. I was, 22 years old, man. I was hanging out at bars and bought my first Porsche. And, man, I was just living life trying to do all I could, right? So he came to me one day after working with me for about a year, and he says, I want to ask you something. And I said, I was pretty smart, fast on my feet. And I said, yeah, go ahead. What you got to ask me? And he said, are you saved? You saved? And I said, saved from what? And he said, let's try it again. He said, are you saved? And I said, yeah, I'm saved. And he said, how do you know? And I said, I didn't have any idea what he was talking about, but I said, because I do good things, man. I said, I walk old ladies across the street, man, and I do this and I do that. I says, and one time somebody needed to borrow some money and they were about to get put out. My list of deeds got longer and longer. And finally, I exhausted that list. I didn't have no more. So he says, so because of all of those things, he says, you say that you're saved? And I said, yeah. He says, well, I got some good news for you and I got some not so good news. And I said, well, what you got to tell me? He said, well, sounds like that long list of things that you gave me. He says, it sounds like you're a really nice person and you're doing some really good work and you're really helping some people out. He said, but those things ain't gonna get you into the kingdom of heaven. He says, they ain't gonna get you there. He says, so you're not saved. And I said, well, what I gotta do to be saved? He said, all you gotta do is accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior in your heart of hearts. Believe that and trust that in your heart of hearts. He says, that's all you gotta do. He said, and you'll be saved forever. And I said, oh, come on, man, Richard. I said, it can't be that easy, man. I said, it gotta be more to it than that. He says, no. He says, I wish I could tell you it was more complicated. He said, but that's all it is. Yeah. He said, that's all it is.
There you go, man.
So I said, get out of here with all that Jesus stuff. And I walked away from it. I was 21.
Yeah.
When I actually got saved, I was 33.
So you're saying sometimes it takes a while?
It takes a while. It was 33. By the time I had heard that message again, and it really meant something to me, and I was able to give my life over to the Lord. It was 33. Now, that's how long it took. And then about 2 years ago, I hadn't seen this guy since I was 21. I'm 56 now. About a year ago, they had a program about what I was doing on Channel 7. And they were talking about me recruiting these gang members off the streets of Chicago and training them how to restore classic cars and saving their lives and restoring lives. And I got a phone call. And the guy says, this is a blast from the past. And I go, yeah? He goes, yeah, this is you. And I said, man, I can't believe it's you. I haven't talked to you, man, since I was 21 years old. I said, you were the one who gave me the message about Christ. I said, you were the reason why I got saved. And he says, well, I'm glad you got saved. He said, but I can't take the credit for that because I didn't save you. He said, it was the Lord. He said, it was the Lord that saved you. He said, all I did was plant the seed. So a lot of times when we're talking to people, we don't know how long it's going to take. Or we don't always get the blessing to be able to see. That's right. But it doesn't mean that it ain't going to happen. We might not. 63 C10s, got the Holy Rollers Hot Rod Church on the side and all that, big wheels and all that. So that's what we drive through the neighborhood, and we kind of recruit these guys, these gang members off the street in this road. We start to talk to them and, hey man, you need to learn something about some old cars, da 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 da. Okay, so then we started this thing called the Holy Rollers Hot Rod Church. So it's about 9 to 14 of us that get together on Sunday morning at 7 o'clock. Everybody knows you can't be late. 7:05, we're gonna be gone. So everybody meets up there, and each guy takes a guy from the inner city that's never been anywhere. Oh, excuse me. That's sorry. Anywhere besides the inner city. They just know the 4-block radius that they travel in. And these are real rough, gang-infested neighborhoods that they're in. But we say, hey, listen, ride with me. So they ride up with us, and then we drive them to Mantino. Then we go to, what's the name of the restaurant?
Yanni's.
Yanni's, across the street at Tracks. So we bust in there, and everybody's like, 16 of us. We need a table for 16, and we all sit, we eat, and the waitresses are real great. And then these guys walk out, and they go, hey man, what's going on? How come they don't hate us? I'm like, they never did hate you. That's what you thought, that's what you were told, but they never did hate you, you know? So then they experience kindness, all right? And then once they experience that kindness, then we say, okay, let's take a group picture. Then we take a group picture. Then some of the people out of the restaurant say, hey, we want to get in a picture too. So then they come, and they, you know, they're standing next to a white guy that they never saw before, some old farmer with, you know, some hay sticking out his mouth, taking like me. Yeah, exactly. And then we do that every week, and then once in a while, depending, if a person really shows a strong interest in cars, then I'll say, come on, take a walk with me along the railroad tracks. They don't know where I'm going. They go, okay, so we're walking along the tracks and we're just talking, and then I walk them right over to Troy's place, and I say, put your hands up against that window. And they look inside and they go, oh man, oh wow, look at that, look at that. And I said, see how far we can go? Yeah. You know, because they're working with me in my shop, and I'm teaching these guys how to fabricate metal on a railroad tie that's about that long, because we ain't got no equipment. You know, we're working with bare bone stuff, you know. But I'm saying, don't be limited to just what we can do here. I want you to see the future. I want you to see how far you can go. I want you to see how big the industry is. So like today, we had 6 guys here from Inglewood community, and these guys have never been to anything like this before unless we take them. So now they're walking around, you know, and they have these Automotive Mentoring Group shirts on, and they're walking around, and I say, get out, introduce yourself to people, talk to them, shake their hand, ask them questions about their cars, you know. So they get a chance to, you really know when you're making a difference when they first come to see you, and they're talking to you like this, and they're mumbling, and they're kind of shaking their hand, you can't understand. And then 3 months into it, they're looking at you straight in the face, and they're going, yeah, 32 forward, that's really what I want, you know, with a 9-inch forward rear end. Then you know you're making progress. Now, when you start to build their confidence, then as you build that confidence, then you can start to talk to them more and more and more about Christ, because they understand it more. And then once you get them to a certain point, you just leave them. Just make up your own mind. You know, it's not strong-arming you. Just make up your own mind. You decide. And then, last but not least, then I'll be quiet. I try to lead by example as best as I can. So, like, there's a chrome plater that has a shop 2 doors down from mine. And that guy, for whatever reason, from the moment I got there, he just didn't like me. So I would try everything. You know, it'd be hot summer days this summer, and I would bring over, like, 8 large Cokes full of ice from the McDonald's, and I bring them over and say, this is for your guys. I know it's hot in there. And he'd go, yeah. And I'd go, all right, see you later. And I'd go. And everybody in my place knew, those guys don't like you over there. Why they don't like you? And I says, I don't know why they don't like me. I try to be nice to them, but they just don't want to cooperate. And one of the guys said to me, he says, they don't want to cooperate now. I said, but I know you're going to find a way to get to them. See, that's the example. Yeah. Instead of me screaming and talking about how much I hate them and this and that, I just kept being kind and kept being kind. And then one day, the Lord opened up the door. They were trying to chrome some bumpers, and they needed to weld some washers on the bumpers so they could dip them down in the chrome tank and weld them down. So he had to come over. He came over and he's like, I need to use your welder. I was wondering if you can let me use it. I said, better than that. I said, here, roll it over to your place. Use it as long as you want. Keep it for a couple of days. And he said, you will not get it. I said, take it for a couple of days. And then he came back, so now everything was great. And then maybe 2 weeks after that, the guy who said, you're going to find a way, he said, See? Well, with these guys, you have to use a very subtle
I'm not extreme, I redeem with faith to serve a God who's